Why Biden is the Democrats' best opportunity to win the 2024 election. The campaign for the 2024 U.S. presidential election has already begun. President Joe Biden is currently the frontrunner among Democrats for the 2024 candidacy, according to recent polls. No one else even comes close, with Vice President Kamala Harris trailing by about 20 points. The alliance that Biden has formed over the past 2.5 years would only be maintained by Biden. He has been able to build a foundation of support among suburban and young voters while also maintaining Hillary Clinton's support among Black and Hispanic voters. Biden has established himself as a champion of older citizens after declaring recently that he will veto any legislation that seeks to abolish Social Security or Medicare. This significant voting group has been a pillar of the Republican base in recent years. Biden will create a bipartisan coalition that will be challenging to defeat if he can win over senior voters. The Republican primary is quite competitive. Donald Trump, a former president, has already declared that he plans to run for President of the United States a third time in 2024. Who would challenge Trump for the Republican nomination has already been the subject of speculation. Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, is widely predicted to be Trump's primary rival in 2018. According to 538's most recent head-to-head results, Biden has an equal probability versus DeSantis and a 3-point advantage over Trump. These ratings should improve for Biden since U.S. inflation is on the decline and the job sector is booming. Concerns over Biden's age are evident in polls. One study claimed that only 23% of Democrats under the age of 45 support Biden's 82nd presidential bid. Only 462 Democrats participated in the poll, which was done before to Biden's well-received State of the Union address, but it appears that his popularity has not increased. According to additional reports, party leaders and ordinary Democrats have differing views on Biden. Yet, a statistical expert claimed that Biden's backing for the Democrats is in their best interests. According to Alan J. Leakman's 13 Keys to the White House theory, Joe Biden's decision to seek a second term will determine the Democrats' long-term power. Only 5 of the 13 items on Leakman's checklist of true and false claims can be true if Biden wants to be re-elected. 4 of Leakman's keys: midterm victories in Congress, no controversy, classified documents have been discovered at Biden's home in Wilmington, foreign or military victory, not looking likely in Ukraine, and a charismatic incumbent, could be said to be incorrect in the current political context. With Republican midterm victories, the expanding Chinese spy balloon situation, the likelihood of no Ukrainian success, and unfavorable Biden opinion surveys, which some might see as evidence of a lack of charisma. According to Leachman, Democrats can only afford one more untrue statement before either the economy deteriorates or Biden decides not to run for re-election. Progressive domestic legislation is more likely to pass in a president's second term than in his or her first if Democrats are serious about doing it. According to research, presidents lose some of their diplomatic clout in their second term, and attention shifts back to domestic concerns. As a result, they are less successful with foreign policy. Domestic policies have an adverse impact on prospective re-election since they directly influence the electorate. The 22nd Amendment prevents presidents from serving a third term, therefore they are more inclined to focus on domestic matters during their second term. Democrats will be hoping to win back the majority in the House and establish a definite majority in the Senate after surpassing predictions in the midterm elections last November. A situation like this would enable the liberal wing of the Democrats to advance socially progressive legislation that supports a green agenda, safeguards voting and reproductive rights, and fends off the possibility of a conservative Supreme Court. A second Biden term might be advantageous for the U.S. even without a clear majority in the House and Senate. Bipartisan cooperation has been rare and far between in recent years due to the partisan divide in U.S. politics. None of the other candidates for the White House has the expertise or capacity to bridge the political chasm as successfully as Biden. Biden was criticized by Democrats for his readiness to set aside political disagreements in order to advance legislative goals before the 2020 Democratic primary race. Naturally, the bipartisan nature of the Congress forces the Republicans to cooperate with Biden. Obama said in his State of the Union speech that his administration served as an example of the advantages of working with people from other parties. Biden asserted that the 300 bills he had signed were the outcome of work involving both parties. He urged Republicans, "There is no reason we can't work together in this next House if we could work together in the prior Congress." At least in Congress, a second Biden term would result in greater bipartisan cooperation and help bridge some of the country's political divide. But in order to do this, Biden's presidency would not be the rule. The research of political scientist Stephen Skowronek demonstrates how common beliefs form the foundation of long-term political shifts in the U.S. These beliefs deteriorate with time and are subsequently replaced by fresh political cycles. According to Skowronek's view, presidents like Thomas Jefferson, Franklin Roosevelt, and Ronald Reagan established a new political cycle that alters attitudes and regulations for a whole generation. Significant accomplishments occur in just 2 terms. Michelle Goldberg, a commentator, said that Biden might be the first leader of a new cycle since Reagan at the beginning of his first term. Skowronek believed that Biden was too moderate to be president who had long-term influence and make that kind of big change prior to the 2020 election. However, the COVID and economic crises, racial tensions, and significant political changes, demonstrated by the recent electoral success of policies that support social democracy and a more equitable economy, have given Biden the chance to start a new political cycle that could have a significant impact on those who succeed him. Biden may make big reforms that will have long-lasting effects beyond his second term if he can garner bipartisan support, much like Franklin D. Roosevelt did in the 1930s to usher in the New Deal era.